it's your girl V, and today I'm going to tell you how I write my song step by step, and hopefully you can learn something from it. Let's go. So first things first is I search for a song. I don't have anything in mind. I just kind of like to browse. My favorite tool to use is BeatStars, which we'll go into that in a moment. Then I think of an inspiration. What is the inspiration? What does the song remind me of? Whether it be 80s, 90s, early 2000s. What does it make me feel? After that, I start creating a melody. Then I start humming tunes. I'm like, da, da, da. I'm like, okay. Then after that, I start building a structure. I start choosing which ones are my verses, which ones are my choruses, and I'll make a note of those things. After that, I build a story, because all of my songs have a story and a meaning behind them. It's not just whatever. It's, you know, there's a lot of thought that gets put into it, as you can see. And last but not least, it's showtime. So I'll get us started over here with BeatStars. All right, so say we do 90s, right? We just type in 90s in the search bar. Anything related to 90s style music, beats are gonna come up here. So you can kind of hear it. If there's like an artist that you like, let's say, right, so if it's Bobby Brown, here is some ideas. So you get to listen in certain beats. And then here you just buy the licenses that you want. They have different licenses that you could choose from. For this example, I'm gonna use Ice Cold. I have them on my playlist already. 90s vibe. And you can put songs aside and put them on a playlist, which is really, really cool. So in this case, we're gonna use Ready or Not by Ice Cold on the beat. And then here you have different licenses that you can use from. You know, you can get an exclusive or whatever it is, and you get to review the usage terms, which I really like because it's really easy to use. As you can see, you get to hear it on the spot, download it right away. Some songs, they give you free downloads, so it's a really great tool. And like I said, you could type in any artist, any decade, and anybody that produces something similar, it's gonna pop up. So hopefully that's a useful tool for you guys, because I absolutely love BeatStars. I'm gonna use Ice Cold. He has a lot of 90s beats. Here's an example of one of his tracks. So I was vibing to it. I'm like, okay. Okay, so I was like, okay. Da, 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 da. So when I hear this, obviously it takes me straight to the 90s, and then I'm thinking, okay, inspiration, what can this song be about? What does it remind me of in the 90s? So it could be anything. I find that in the 90s they talk a lot about crushes, love, dancing with someone, missing somebody, or being on the phone. Maybe I'll decide, you know what, it's gonna be about somebody being on the phone. So I'm like, all right. And when I call you, da, 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 da. Okay, so now we decided it's gonna be a 90s inspired song, and it's gonna remind us of being on the phone. So then we're thinking of ideas. Okay, something on the phone, what could it be? It's the 90s, so we're talking landline. This was before texting, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna be thinking like, da 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 da, you know. At this point, I'm gonna start with the melody. So I'm thinking like, okay, it's gonna be by the phone. So I'm gonna try to harmonize and create some melodies surrounding the whole concept of a phone. Dun 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 dun, call me. Dun 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 dun. So I'm thinking of ways where I can add the whole concept of a phone, a call, or anything. So I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun 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 dun. So that's 6 syllables. So I'm like, call me, I'm on the phone, call it. So something like that. You see how that went in with the idea of da 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 da, call me, I'm on the phone. There is no black and white, no strict way, because at the end of the day, Songwriting is a piece of art. So you can have parts where there's more syllables, less syllables than previous lines. That's totally fine. But for me, it's a good basis to start. If I already have a melody, have an idea, then I'll go ahead with that. So I went ahead and I wrote down like a phrase just to give you a general idea of how that works. So, and how many different ways you could take it. So if I wrote, go ahead and call me, I'm waiting by the phone. Go ahead and call me, I'm waiting by the phone. Go ahead and call me, I'm waiting by the phone. Go ahead and call me, waiting by the phone. See, there's so many different ways you can say one thing, and it could go so many different ways. So that's why we also recommend to have a voice recorder. So as you're coming up with all these ideas of different ways, you could say, go ahead and call me, waiting by the phone. You're like, oh, I love the way that sounds. And then you can, start writing down, okay, that's going to be the intro. That is going to be the chorus. That is going to be whatever it is that you want to use it for. So that's how I use melody. I use the structure, and I kind of just compile it all together to build a song. And then, of course, the story. I'm not going to break down an entire song because I'm just showing you my working process. But in this scenario where I'm talking about a phone, I have different lines. I couldn't stop thinking of you on the way home. I had on the way home, I was thinking of you. There's so many different ways that I can word that. Call me if you're thinking of me. And as I'm writing down these different ideas, I'm like, okay, go ahead and call me. I'm waiting by the phone. You know that you know. So I'm like, oh, I like that. So I'm gonna be, go ahead and call me, I'm waiting by the phone. I was thinking of you all the way home. And I'm like, oh, perfect. That's going to be part of the chorus. That's going to be the intro. So when I'm building my songs, something that I like to do that helps me is tapping. I'll tap counters, I'll tap windows, and like, da, 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 da. So it helps me kind of build a tempo a little bit. So it's like, do I like it slow? Do I like it fast? I'm keeping a straight face, but I'm serious. So I'm like, dun, or I'm like, dun, 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 dun. And that helps me kind of structure the song when I'm, getting the melody, the structure, when I'm building the song. So something that you can try, that I like to do, might help you, may not, but it's something that helps me when I'm building the song. And it kind of, like I said, gives me ideas without you really having to really go out of your way. What's the story? What's the scope? So I'm thinking, okay, we could have met at the mall. It's the 90s, the mall. So coming out of a store and I saw you walking out of the door, thinking, oh, da 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 da, gonna give it a chance, da 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 da. Call me at 8678, dun 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 dun. Like you just start building a story. So it's like, okay, we met at the mall. I gave him my number. This is the number. Do I want to include a phone number in there? Or do I just want to give the general idea? And then slowly I start building the story from when these people met to the exchange of the phone to what's happening in between this time, and then what's the outcome? Is things going good? Did he left you like, not calling? So, and depending on the energy of the song and the playfulness of it, it could be like, I don't know, waiting by the phone, and then you go by the, to the mall again, and then you're like, oh, there you are. It's like, oh, you gave me the wrong number. It's like, what? And it could be now a funny song, you know what I mean? And this whole time we were all thinking one thing. So there's so many different ways that one concept, one idea, one inspiration can go. And the way I decide is based on the sound, the vibe. So for me, this is like very playful, very fun. So again, I could be like, oh shoot, she gave me the wrong number. And again, with the concept of the phone, the whole song could be, instead of, giving a number at the mall, it could be like, damn, she gave me the wrong number. That's pretty much how my songwriting process goes. Search for an idea, build an inspiration, start creating melodies, start building the structures, start picking out lines, start building the story that I want to share with people. What, you know, something that matches the mood and everything. You know, it has to make sense for me anyway. And then it's showtime. After you picked out all your lines and you decided, okay, this is definitely the song, this is exactly how it's gonna go, just keep practicing, and boom, you have a song. Take it to the studio, have your own recording studio at home, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a quick video because I didn't want it to make it very long, but just to kind of give you guys an idea of how I build my songs, how I write my songs. And if you have any questions, I'm here. Till next time.